Welcome back, students. Today we will going to look at the determination of Manning's coefficient n for a given channel, and that too experimentally. So today we will going to perform the experiment related to the Manning's n, how to determine. Okay. So we have in our fluid mechanics laboratory one tilting plume. So for that tilting plume, we will going to determine the value of Manning's coefficient or constant, we can say, that is n. So before directly starting with the experiment, let us discuss little bit theory which is applicable to perform that practical. Okay. So let us start. Let me describe theory of this practical with you. You all know that the Manning's equation can be written as, so we can write Manning's equation as V equals to 1 by n r to the power 2 by 3 s to the power half. So this is very popularized equation that everybody knows about the Manning's, that is Manning's equation. We can make use of this equation to determine the velocity through the open channel fluid. Okay. So now what we have to do today, we have to determine this value of n experimentally. So this is our objective for today's practical. So if we rearrange the terms in this equation, can I write like this? Manning's n will be equals to V1 upon V r to the power 2 by 3 s to the power half. Okay. First of all, let me define what are these terms in Manning's equation. So V is the average velocity of the fluid flowing through the open channel. N is Manning's coefficient, or we can say Manning's constant, or in other words it can be called as rugosity coefficient. R is the hydraulic mean depth or hydraulic mean radius, which is given by, we can determine R as A by B, that is weighted area to the weighted perimeter. Okay. And what is S? S is here is, we can say, a bed slope, or for more correct, we can refer it as the slope of HGL, hydraulic gradient line. So many a times we have discussed in theory session that for open channel flow, water surface itself is a hydraulic gradient line. So if we consider the slope of water surface profile or bed slope, it will go into one and the same. So therefore we can refer, for our more understanding, S as a bed slope. Okay. So if we look to this formula, if we want to determine the value of n in this, we should know the value of velocity of the fluid flowing through the open channel. We should know the R, that is hydraulic mean radius, and we should know the bed slope. Okay. So for this let us discuss how to determine this average velocity or velocity of fluid. So for that we have the measuring tank. So area of measuring tank is known for us, and we know that we have the equation that is Q discharge equals to area into velocity. Okay. So from here I can rearrange the terms as V equals to Q upon area. So how I can determine the discharge experimentally? So discharge is nothing but, if I have to write here, I can write discharge is equals to volume of water upon time is divided by time. Okay. Let us say if we consider the volume of water is nothing but volume of the measuring tank, because we are going to make use of this measuring tank to measure the discharge. So if we want to determine the volume of measuring tank, we can write the area of measuring tank into depth of water. Which depth? The depth of water collected within this time. That time we have to divide this equation with that time. So if we do this, we will calculate, we can able to determine the value of discharge flowing through that channel. And once we know the value of discharge, we can determine the velocity by dividing discharge with area of the channel. here area is the area of measuring tank. Here area will be area of channel. Please remember. This is area of channel. Okay. So area of channel, how to determine? We know that we can do width into depth of flow. So by this way, width of B is nothing but width of channel. So for our case, width of channel is 10 centimeter. We know this value. So if we multiply the 10 centimeter with the depth of flow, we can determine the area of the channel. And once we determine the discharge, actual discharge with the help of measuring tank, by following this equation, so we can determine the value of Q. So the Q divided by area will give me the value of V. So V we can calculate. Now remaining part is R. R is nothing but hydraulic mean radius or depth, we can say. We will going to represent with the R. R will going to A by P. Weighted area to the weighted perimeter. So weighted area is nothing but this one. B into depth. Already we have this value. P perimeter. So since our channel is rectangle, see how our channel will look like this. So this will be our channel. So this will, let us say, water tank. So this will be the width D and this will be the depth of water D. So perimeter P, weighted perimeter, I can calculate from this as, I will write here itself, PV equals to B plus twice the depth, because one depth is on this side, one depth is on this side plus B. So perimeter will be, I can determine by that equation. So area already I have calculated, P I can calculate by following this equation. So R I can easily determine. And what about the slope? Last remaining parameter in this equation. Slope. Slope is nothing but it, again I have written there. This slope can be of bed slope or we can refer this as a slope of hydraulic gradient line. Okay, so this slope is nothing but, so in order to determine the slope, we had some arrangement we have there along with the tilting plume. So slope we can determine that fall divided by horizontal distance. And this fall is vertical fall. Let me write here vertical. Okay, vertical fall divided by horizontal distance. So for determining vertical fall, we have the scale. Horizontal distance in our case it is I think 350 centimeters. For our tilting plume is having the horizontal distance or length of tilting plume as 350 centimeters. So this is constant. So we can determine, we can calculate, we can observe the vertical fall. So once we divide vertical fall by horizontal distance, it will give us the slope. So slope, yes, it is known for us. We can determine. Hydraulic mean radius, yes, we can determine by this equation. And discharge we can determine, and from discharge we can determine the velocity. So all the parameters are known in this equation, and if we follow this equation we can determine value of E. So this is how, in short, I can describe the theory which is needed in order to proceed to the experiment, that is determination of Manning's coefficient or Manning's constant or rugosity coefficient for a given channel section. Okay, so I think this is the theory part. So now we will proceed to the actual experiment. Okay, let's follow. Okay, now we will discuss exactly experimentally how to determine the value of Manning's N. So for that purpose we will going to make use of this tilting plume. So this is called as the tilting plume. So first of all we will going to look at its construction. Okay, so this is the water tank through which we will going to, this is called as a sump tank also. So the water is filled in this tank. So from this tank we will going to pump the water. So here if you observe, so the arrangement what we have done, so pump is there, it is submerged in the water. So pump is there. So from there we are going to pump the water. So this is the discharge operating valve. So by using this valve we can operate a discharge as per our choice. So water is, so once we pump the water through this tank, it is following the path, let us say this one. So through this pipe this is an inlet for this wide pipe. So from there, if you observe, water is freely falling. See, here water is coming, and from here again it is coming in the upward direction, and then it flows over the length of this channel. Okay, so this is the construction, and again after it flows through over the total length, then again this is the measuring tank. So this measuring tank we will going to make use of to determine the actual discharge flowing through this channel section. So here if you observe, area of the tank is given, that is 0.18 meter square. So instead of directly following this, you can determine you can measure the width of this channel section by the scale and length of the channel section. So you will be available with the cross sectional area and time taken to accumulate, to collect the water. Let us say, so for determining to measure the depth of water in the measuring tank, here we have inserted one piezometer. So by using this, we can calculate how much water is being collected in the measuring tank for a given time. So if therefore area into this depth, it gives the volume. If we divide that volume by the time taken, it gives us the actual discharge flowing through this channel section. So if you observe to this channel section, so this is the width. This is a width of channel, and this is called this is nothing but 10 centimeter width. Okay, inner this is 10 centimeter. So this is the width of channel, and depth of channel we can determine here. So if you observe, scales are attached here. So at this cross section we can measure the depth of flow. Again, same way we can measure the depth of flow at this section also. Same way here also. One more section is there. So at any section which you feels comfortable, you can measure the depth of flow. Width, it is 10 centimeter. So you can determine the area of channel section also. So this is in short a construction of a tilting fluid. Now here for making the motor on and off, so this is the operation. So once we push the button on, motor will get started. So I will going to show you how the water is flowing. So let me start the pump. So if you observe, pump has been started. Water started. See, water is coming here. So yes, so water is started flowing through this channel section. So if you observe, so here we can observe what is the arrangement we have done in order to allow the flow of. Here we can observe what is the arrangement. So this is the pipe. Again, if you observe, this is perforated pipe. So here we have ensured there should be a less turbulence. Therefore, we have went with the perforated pipe, and again water is coming in upward direction, and here from this point onwards it starts flowing in the channel. So the length of channel we will going to consider from this point to this point. Okay, so this is the length of channel, because we know that in just last time we have just discussed, while we were discussing about the theory, we have discussed about we wanted to determine this bed slope. So for determining the bed slope, length should be known to us. It is 350 centimeters, and this is the adjustment we have done to measure the drop or fall, vertical fall of the channel section. Okay, so again, if you observe here, so this is a level tube we will going to make use of. See, now the bubble is at center. It means this tilting plume is perfectly horizontal. Now what we will going to do is, we will going to give an artificial fall to this channel's tilting fluid, and that fall is known to us. Okay, so how? Let me do this in front of you and let me show you. So this is a jack. So with the help of jack, we can move the tilting plume upside or downside. So we want the fall, so therefore I will going to move it to the downside by moving it clockwise. See, so now if you observe, at horizontal tilting plume reading is 10. Okay, so just observe the scale. So if you observe, slowly tilting plume is getting downward. So if you observe to the scale, look. So yes, now I think I should stop getting down the tilting plume. So if you observe 10 mm of drop I have given to this channel. Okay, so drop is known, so length is also known to us, that is 350 centimeters, and drop is 10 mm. So 10 mm drop in 350 centimeters length. So by this way you can determine the slope of this channel section. Okay, so now unknown thing is we have to determine first of all discharge. So if we observe the discharge flowing through this channel section by following the equations that we have discussed in the theory, you can easily determine the value of here. So for this experiment only we have to observe is depth of flow, and another observation we have to do is that is actual discharge flowing through this channel by using the measuring tank. Okay, so for that purpose let me just operate the flow so that we will get the higher values of depth, because depth is quite less. So I will just operate this with the discharge valve. I will going to close this so that I can increase the depth of flow. See the wave. See, if you observe now, the depth of flow starts increasing in the channel section because I have operated the discharge valve. I have just slightly closed it so that I have increased the discharge flowing through this channel section. So we will just wait for a minute of time to become this level as a constant, and then we can measure this depth with the help of the scale. So I think depth is become constant now. Yes, we can have the observations. We can note down the observations. So here if you look, if you observe precisely, the depth is I think 34 mm. Okay, so depth of flow is 34 mm in the channel section. So depth, yes, we have observed. So this depth multiplied by this width, you will get the cross-sectional area of the channel section. One observation we have to do, that is depth, and another observation we are going to do is actual discharge. Let's now discuss about how to determine the actual discharge flowing through this channel. Okay, so for that we will going to make use of this measuring tank. So you can measure the length and width with the help of scale, or if you observe here, the area is directly written. So area of this tank is, surface area of this tank is 0.18 meters square. Again, for measuring the discharge, what we have to do is we have to take the initial reading. So if you observe, initial reading is about, so it is fluctuating, so I can have the average of this, let us say it is 50. Let us say it is 50 mm. Okay, so then what I will going to do is, now I have the stopwatch in my hand and I will going to close this valve. Meanwhile, I will going to start this stopwatch. Okay, and I will going to consider the time to collect the depth of water, let us say 50 mm more, or let us say 10 centimeters more. So now it is 50. So 10 centimeters more means we have to wait up to 150. Okay, so let me start. Let me show you how we can do this. See, meanwhile I am closing the valve and I am here started the time. And so if you observe, the reading is starting. So I will going to stop the watch at 150. Look here, yes. So now once again I will going to reopen this valve and I will allow the water to flow down. So if you observe the time of 13 seconds, 13.65, you can consider 14 seconds. 14 seconds time is required in order to collect the depth of water in this tank of 10 centimeters. So this is the time required to collect the 10 centimeters of depth in this tank. So area is known to you. This depth we can consider 10 centimeters. So this is the volume, area into the depth is volume, divided by this time 14 seconds. You can easily determine the discharge of this. Okay. So every observations, each and every observations are known to you. So start calculating the value of Manning's for this iteration. So you can repeat this procedure in order to have the more iterations, more number of the trials, so that we can have the average of all. Let us say if you perform 4 iterations by the same procedure, following the same procedure, 4 values of n you will get. So you can conclude the average of that n value as a Manning's n, or the constant Manning's value of Manning's constant for this channel section. Okay, so that's it as far as the experimental procedure is concerned. So now we have done with the experiment. We have followed the procedure. We have observed some observations we have done. So in experiment, we have observed 2 things. First is we have observed the depth of flow flowing through the channel, and I think depth of flow we have observed as 55 mm, and you check this value. Okay. So another observation we have done, that is the actual discharge. I will write here. So discharge, and we have that is actual, and we have determined this actual discharge with the help of measuring tank, that is nothing but area or volume upon time. So volume is nothing but area of the tank into the depth. Depth, we have depth of water here. I will write depth of water. So we have considered depth of water as 10 centimeters. Okay, and time also. So in order to collect the 10 centimeter of water in the measuring tank, we have noted down the time of 14 seconds. So area is also known to you, it is 0.21 meter square. So from this equation, if we solve, you can determine the value of discharge. Okay. So this discharge, if you put in this equation, you can determine the velocity. But here, what is this area? Area A is area of channel. Once again, I am repeating this thing. Area of channel. Area of channel, how you can determine this depth of flow? That is D if I assume. And this depth of flow into this width. Width is, you know that. Width is 10 centimeter for our channel is. So from here also you can determine area. Discharge is already you have calculated. You can determine the velocity. Then for hydraulic mean radius, A by B, weighted area to the weighted perimeter. Weighted area is nothing but again B into D. And weighted perimeter, just in last discussion we have discussed weighted perimeter equals to B plus 2D. So everything is known. Just put it in this equation. So depth of water हमने देखा है. So it is I think 55 centimeters. We have observed. Okay. So from here you can determine the value of hydraulic mean depth. And slope, for slope, look here, this is important calculation. So drop we have considered as a 10 mm or 1 centimeter, I can say. 1 centimeter vertical drop in horizontal, that is 350 centimeters. Okay, so this is slope is 1 in 350. So you will put the value in this equation. So everything is known to you. From this you can determine the value of n. I will not going to do the calculations and show you. So by looking to this video and following these instructions, you have to do the all calculations, and if you can check, you can determine the value of n. Okay, so this is all about the procedure to determine the value of Manning's n, or Manning's coefficient, or Manning's constant, or rugosity coefficient for any channel. Once we know the value of n, we can make use of this value of n to determine the velocity. Velocity for any type of flow flowing through that channel section. Okay, so this is how we can determine the Manning's n experimentally. So thanks a lot for watching this video. Wish you happy.